Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Royal Forex, and here is my weekly analysis of 2020, and this is the last week of, all of you know, this is the last week of July, so you should be very careful, and it's the 27th. And the first pair I'm looking at is Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Very well know that last week around Wednesday we had a retest of what was at the support after having had a long time move towards this level. So what's next? Some friends of mine very well know I sent you these charts. We had a buy at the level of 76.1, and even today's morning I had a few people, one or two, that I told to look for buys, and I told them to look for buys at this level, after this level, just right after this level. That when we get a move up after this level, you set in your buys. So we had buys at this level. And those who have done order blocks and what, we had something in similar. When you look at the 15-hour chart, I looked at such a thing, because this is a down movement, and I really had to look for that. Yeah, it's here. We looked for it at this level, this consolidation levels, and I moved down, so we had the buys here, and then other buys came at this level. Have only 2 trades in this after this level, after having these consolidations. I waited for an upward move, and then I hit a buy here. So I looked for those. Even this had a consolidation down and downwards, and the moment it hit the previous levels, we set in buys, and I can tell you the trade is in profits, but we have not broken even. So we are looking at breaking even and hold the trade for quite a time, because this is a downward movement and we are going down and down. Even when you've seen it on a daily, it's moving down. And make sure you've gotten your entries around this level, because we are having this down movement still loading. And the next is Euro USD, one of the trades people, or currencies people trade the most. So last week I was looking at this 16 level. I told a few people that I'm looking at this 1600 level. Oh, sorry. I was looking at this level. Just let me bring it down here. I was looking at this level, and of course it was broken, retested. Many buyers, many orders were here. That's why you see this candle. So the question is, what is next for this, what is next for this? Where do we go from now? Remember, this has a wedge on the daily, and let me bring here a weekly and see if I can get it for you. This is not also bringing it for me well. So we have had this wedge in this trade. We have had this wedge, and what are we looking for? We are looking for the break of this level, which is 1600, and when we get a daily close, which I believe is going to happen, daily close above it, which we got, and we have not had it confirm more, but this will be supported by this trend line. So if we get a daily close above 1600 and also a monthly close above 1600, what would be our next move? Our next move would be 17. Let me put it on the weekly timeline, trend. Our next move should be 1, 2, 500, somewhere here as well. We'll be looking at this. Would be the next close that we should have our eyes on. Why? Because as long as it is still below 1600, you can't stop it from moving up. We'll have the upward move and move, but if we get a close a daily close below 1600, then no, we'll have a rotation lower, before we could either have that kind of move back, or we'll have a rotation lower to these levels of the wedge down, and we move up. Remember, there is nothing is impossible in the market. You get it? So this is a very tricky week. It has profits, but it also has to make you be cautious of what you're going to make out of this trade. Because me, I'm looking at a daily close above 1600, and I enter my buys. Why? Because the market will have that retest, then we can go shoot higher. I hope these lines are not confusing you. The next on the trade is the sterling against the US dollar. Last week we had it down here, and many of you thought it had already closed above it, and I would want to put my resistance up here, which has been broken. A good thing to watch, it has been broken, but we want to see a daily close, because if we have it as a daily close, then it will have a retest on this level, and we go towards this level. So I'm looking at this level here before we can either get a breakthrough or a rotation lower to this area, which will again bring out to this area. But what do we have to look at? Let's look at today's close. Remember, Monday, Friday up, close up, usually sometimes I don't bet on them, they're not usually the best. So once we have this, let me look at the 4 hour. Once we have this as the daily close, it will give you the best, because I see this and I believe this is going to close below it, and we'll have the bulls take over, and this is going to move about sorry, this will be like 200 pip move, likely to be a 200 pip move. So meaning even if you take 50 or 100 out of it, it's a good one. So get your strategy, prepare for today's close, find where to buy from. And the next on my radar is the USD against the Japanese yen. And I want to tell you this, that this currency is going to do something I really didn't want to happen. Why? Because I had already waited for the bulls, but today's candle looks to be so aggressive. After the market has opened, the candle looks so aggressive. I know there is a lot of tension, but I really don't like how it's moving, and I am not going to trade until I find today's close. Why? Because if today's close confirms these bears, then I will sell. But also putting in mind that this sale is going to be about 500 pips. Why? Back to these all-time lows here, somewhere here, that I'm looking at, and a break below it can expose 101. So a break below it, I would want to look for a sell up to 102, but it could bring it up to 101. So look at it very well, study it. It's going to have a very good move. Remember, we had this wedge move and play out very well, but it has been long overdue. We have had this wedge. Let me just draw for you. We have had this wedge. Here. Let me draw for you. We have had this wedge, and not this. This is a real-time market. I want to look at these levels. And we have been having closes in it, most of the closes in it. And what will happen when we have a close below it, it could send the pair even much more low. You get it? So if we get a close below these all-time lows that have been there for about the past 15 years, then it will send the pair low, and we can even have it at this level, which will signal for a very long weakness and more profit. So I'm looking at this pair, and I'm looking at where is it closing, where is it close. Okay, and the next is CHF against the Japanese yen, and I set out analysis on this last week. I sent out the analysis on this last week, and we had a breakthrough of this level. Sorry. We had a breakthrough of this level. Let me just draw a trend line instead of this. We had this level. We had this level. We had this level and this level. Remember, they were never broken. Then we had a breakout, and now a sell confirmation was here, and we are going to move all the way. I'm looking at this level as the final. So let me bring it to a 4-hour time frame, and on the 4-hour time frame you can see that we have this was the best to look for your buys here. Why? Because it had to send the pair lower and lower. So look at, if you're a long time, this will be a good one for you to trade. If you're a long time trader, it will be a very good one for you to trade. So look for your entries. Like I've told you, the trend is setting it lower. Just look for entries. There will always be pullbacks. Remember, it's moving like this. So look for those pullbacks and put in your entries. You see where to go with it. And then the EURUSD, I wanted to have a buy, though it hasn't had a correction that I wanted. I expected a correction to come to this level, 1.63, or probably this level, before I could have a buy. But I can see it's already moving up, and I am not buying, though. However, I don't control the market. When it comes my way, I'll buy. Or if you have a strategy that allows you to buy, do that. And if you don't have, let it go. You can always trade other things. And the last on my analysis today is the precious metal. And this precious metal is of course silver. I remember telling a few people that even if you buy 0.01 on silver now, you can hold it until it reaches 40. So check how we had a breakthrough of the 19 level. We had a move back, and we also broke through this level of 2021, and we had this pullback, which was good. I did some buys here up to this level. Yeah, I did buys up this level. However, I didn't do a buy here, and I'll tell you, we are going to have a pullback at around this level of 25, and it should give you a good level of doing your buy. Let me give you a weekly chart and probably minimize it, and as you can see, when you minimize it, this level here, 25, would have a retest. However, we might move to the last lows of 23, or just a small retest at 24, and we get to buy. So I'm looking at these levels being taken out, and even this level, and it will even send it higher before we can get pull back down, that is going to be a little more of less risk. So ladies and gentlemen, I have your questions. Please post them on this YouTube. If you have you want to follow up with me, you can always post your email or what. I'll get back to you. Feel free, post your questions, subscribe. I'll always be giving you updates. Put the bell handle on. I'll always be giving you updates of videos of those opportunities I find in the market. Thank you. Have a good week ahead of you as you trade.